Whatever path you are on, whatever inspired you to come here today, we honor you and we welcome you. And now, our message.
So just taking a couple of deep breaths. Noticing the energy in your body from that song. It's kind of tinkling around and infusing you with some joy and fun. And knowing that all of that is part of God. All of that is who we are. As well as the quiet parts, the subtle energies. It's all God. And we're here this morning to feel that presence. To remember that that's who we are. To be aware that as we sit here and listen to the music and the words of the speakers, all of that is God as well. And we open our hearts, open our beings to experiencing more of that energy. To being in the present moment, to notice what's going on with us, to notice where we might be activated or calmed, and being aware of those things. Because as we become more and more aware of that, we become more and more of who we truly are. So this morning I welcome Allie's talk about health, opening more to my own health, to my own experience of well-being and peace and joy and ease. I accept all of that now as my experience of life. With gratitude, I welcome the day, and so it is.
I'm back. Good morning if you came in whilst all of that fun was happening. Thank you so much for learning all those songs and sharing them with us and uplifting us and getting us settled into the day, inspired. Thank you very much. This is the month of November, and the theme for November is spiritual partnership. Spiritual partnership. And we're focusing on 5 different areas of our lives. And today my talk is health, the body, healing, and well-being. But before I get started, I want to, it's also the gratitude month. It's Thanksgiving. What's that? We're working on your mic. My mic's not turned on. Test. Oh, yes. Good morning, test, hello, test. You can edit that piece out, thank you very much. So it is the gratitude month, and so I want to send out a very big, warm message of love and gratitude and appreciation to all of those that were there last night at the Come Together free community meal. So I know some of you were there. Don't be shy and stand up. I can see you, Ray. Stand up. Stand up, Carl. I just want to acknowledge you and your families. I know the kids aren't in here, but we had, how many of you? It was probably 10 of you or so?
Yeah, about that.
And how was that, feeding and clothing and sharing all that good cheer with all those people in need?
It was wonderful. It's a really great party.
Yeah. What was the highlight for you and your family, do you think, Carl?
Probably interacting with the people, and then seeing the smiles on their faces and the gratitude for what they were given.
Yeah. How about you, Shannon? One takeaway?
For me, it was just seeing people get what they needed and how happy and grateful they were. So many people said, "Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
I appreciate it so much." And that just made it all worthwhile.
Yeah, thank you. Let's give them that. So it was the 5th annual, and we've had a presence there for 5 years now. So this isn't something new. We've financially contributed, we've served with our hands and with our hearts. And so if you're interested next year, see us, because it's such a great opportunity to not only serve on that day, but to gather used coats and hygiene products and all the things that the homeless and the hungry and those in need really need here in Ogden. Sometimes we don't see it, but there's a huge population of people in need right here. There's even a shelter upstairs that our winter opulence is going towards helping to support the crisis center upstairs. And yesterday also was a resource opportunity, so there were all sorts of local-based resource organizations there to share. So it was a real good, feel-good event. So thank you very much. What else? So last week I talked about, I took my talk from Gary Zilkoff's book, Spiritual Partnership, and I talked about how to tap into authentic power, that power that's within us versus seeking external power, thinking our power, our happiness, our good comes from outside sources, but cultivating practices and being aware that we have the ability to tap into an endless supply and source of love and power within us, regardless of what's going on the outside. So the same is true for our health. So what does science of mind say about the body? Ernest Holmes said, "The body is composed of matter, but what is matter? Science tells us that matter is an aggregation of small particles arranged in some kind of form in a continuous state of flow." Kind of both and there. It's solid, but yet it's always flowing. Strange as it may seem, we do not have the same physical bodies that we had a few months ago. They have completely changed. New particles have taken the place of old, and the only reason that they have taken the same form is that something within has provided the same mold. Our bodies are like a river, forever flowing. The indwelling spirit alone maintains its identity. So, Science Mind teaches that we have this physical form, that we have this invisible, ineffable, unknowable aspect to who we are, our spiritual essence. So you've heard the saying that we're spiritual beings having this human experience. So we've got this spark of life, this mysterious thing about us, but yet we've got this very tangible physical form. And then there's a third component to who we are, which is our mind, which is the laws of the universe that help support those two things, the body and the spirit. So we're going to explore today the body, mind, spirit connection and how it all works and how you can tap into your authentic power, that source and supply, to become what I call a conscious co-creator. Conscious co-creator of your life, especially in regards to your health and your well-being. Now, science has proven that. Ernest Holmes actually wrote that back in the 20s, which is very interesting because science hadn't proven a lot of this at that point. They were just beginning to understand the smallest particles of who and what we really are as physical forms. But now modern physics is confirming what science of mind and metaphysicians have known for thousands of years. For thousands of years. So modern science is catching up with the mystics. I love that. So what is your relationship like with your body? What stories do you tell yourself about your body? Now, some of you are in my class, Loving What Is. And so we're exploring thoughts and the stories we tell ourselves. And we've been asking ourselves the question, is it true? So we have a thought, and then we put it under inquiry and look to see if those thoughts we're having are true. So I wonder if I could be a little fly on the inside of your mind for a week, what would I hear you telling yourself about your body? What is your story? Now, it may come up into conscious awareness when you're in front of the mirror naked. That voice might pop up and start saying some things to yourself about you. Now, is that you? Or is that the voice in your head that's having judgments about you? Anyway, it's an interesting thing to think about. What is the story you tell yourself about your body? Because science is proving that our cells hear. Our cells hear what our mind tells them. You are beautiful, you are ugly. You are unhealthy, you are healthy. There's not a chance of a cure. Cures happen all the time. Spontaneous remission happens all the time. This is a death sentence. I mean, your mind is probably broadcasting messages, listening to external messages about your health, about what the doctors say. So, what is the story you tell yourself about your body, about your health, about the length of your life, about your family's health? All of that makes a difference. Your cells are listening. Our bodies are a manifestation of our thoughts. The body of the universe, everything that's going on this planet, is a manifestation of the thoughts going on in the minds of men and women. Everything is connected. And it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all good. Body, mind, and spirit. On the macrocosm, on the big level, the universe and beyond is the body of spirit. Then we have the invisible laws, like gravity, like the law of cause and effect, like all the physical laws governing the physical universe. Body, mind, and spirit. So that's on the macrocosm, that's on the big level. We, as human beings, are the microcosm. We too have a body. We too have a mind. And we too have a spirit that goes on, that is infinite, that isn't bound by time and space, that someday will leave this physical body and this mind. But for now, we're here packaged in this earth school suit, this physical package, along with this computer, this mind of ours, that's been programmed, that we get to reprogram if we don't like the programs that are running. So you get to change your thoughts and change your life. I think Ernest Holmes was onto something. So a lot of my information today comes from Dr. Lissa Rankin, MD. She started the Whole Health Institute, and she's the author of Mind Over Medicine. She's a medical doctor, and her message is, your body is your business. Your body is your business. Do you run your body? Do you manage your body like a business? Do you take good care of it? Ernest Holmes says, health and sickness is largely externalizations of our dominant mental and spiritual states. An emotional shock or a mind filled with thoughts of fear have been known to cause the momentary stoppage or acceleration of fear. Physicians now testify that under emotional stress, particularly anger, the blood leaves a chemical deposit around the joints in the body. Worry, fear, anger, jealousy, and other emotional conditions are mental in their nature, and as such are being recognized as the hidden cause of a large part of all physical suffering to which the flesh is heir with an H. A normal healthy mind reflects itself in a healthy body, and conversely, an abnormal mental state expresses its corresponding condition in some physical condition. Thoughts are things. Every thought becomes a reality for you. The stream of thoughts, the stories you tell yourself, are the laws of your life. Have you noticed that? That what your predominant thoughts are tend to become your experience? No? Mm-hmm. 2, 3 of you. 4, 5, 6. Psychology affirms that all thoughts and emotions that we have experienced since we came into conscious existence are still present in mind. Whereas ceaselessly active, they manifest themselves as subjective tendencies that mold the body in sickness or in health, and determine as well our reactions to all life and experience. All mind activity inevitably tends to create its physical correspondent, so that an unhealthful mental state projects itself into the body. Are you thinking about your health story, your body story, what you're telling yourself about your body? It's beautiful, loving, and whole. It's this wonderful vehicle that you get to walk around in for the next 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, who knows how many years. We get to take good care of our body. Thoughts of sickness can make an individual sick, and thoughts of health and perfection can heal. So that's the good thing. We can stop thinking the negative thoughts and increase that positive quotient of thoughts. So Dr. Rankin says, our body is equipped with wonderful repair mechanisms. So this is some of the new science. This isn't something that mainstream medicine teaches. This is something that new medicine, more holistic doctors like to emphasize. So our body is equipped with wonderful repair mechanisms, but these wonderful repair mechanisms only operate when we're in a relaxed state. When you're in a stress response, those mechanisms are disabled. The amygdala part of the brain, the limbic brain, that fight-flight part of us, triggers the release, the cortisol and the epinephrine running through our veins and damaging our bodies. This is the adrenal system when it gets scared. The stress response is only supposed to last 90 seconds or so until the danger has diminished. So what is that saying? We, in our evolutionary state, animals have this figured out. They have this flight-fight response. They see the saber-toothed tiger and they dart for shelter. Right? That fight-flight part of the brain gets activated. They go hide behind a rock or in a cave. 90 seconds go by, they calm down, and they come out and start grazing or whatever. Now the humans, we haven't developed such a quick way of moving beyond that fight and flight. So we have one of these responses. We get triggered by something. Those of you that were here last week heard me talk about being triggered by my mother-in-law getting angry. Remember that? Mm-hmm. So I got triggered. So I'm like that. I still have that part of my brain, that amygdala part of my brain that gets triggered by something. And if it's an angry female, that really does it for me. And so an angry female gets, and then I get triggered, and my stress response goes up. I start to do all those things that I do. I either want to fix things, which is one of my tendencies, or I flee, that's another one of mine, or I get angry. That's less of mine. You have to really be a big, scary female for that to happen. So here we are, we get triggered, whether it be by our boss yelling at us, our bank account goes into the red, we get fired, or our spouse doesn't call when they said they would, our children, we get a phone call from your child's teacher, and we get triggered, and we go into that response of fear. Well, it doesn't shut off in 90 seconds for most of us. We carry that around within us, so we're unable to access the healing mechanisms within our body because we're never really in a relaxed state. So if you've got a very high stress job, if you've got a dysfunctional family, if you've got fill in the blanks, whatever your stressor is, that's got your mental activity going most of the time, figuring out how to escape or how to fix or getting angry, then you are in that place that isn't optimal for healing. Your body isn't activating its natural healing capacities when you're in that constant state of fight and flight. Make sense? Is this interesting?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So there's Dr. Rankin says that we have around 50 stress responses a day. 50 stress responses a day. So there's been a lot of studies. Have you heard of the placebo effect? You've heard of doctors giving a placebo effect. A placebo is a beneficial effect produced, well, the placebo effect is a beneficial effect produced by a placebo drug, such as a sugar pill or a treatment or even a surgery, which cannot be attributed to the properties of the placebo itself and must therefore be due to the patient's belief in the treatment. And you've heard of this, right? They do studies where half the patients get the placebo, half the patients get the real drug. And the funny thing is that, let's say it's a chemotherapy placebo, the ones that receive the placebo have been known to get nauseous, get sick, and lose their hair when they weren't even receiving that chemotherapy drug. So there are placebos, there are things that just by us simply believing, they work. So in really the science of mind is a placebo. It's a healthy placebo. If we learn how to change our thoughts, if we learn how to change our lives, we become our own placebo. We can alter the course of our health by changing just the way we believe, the way we think, and what we do in the world. So you are your own placebo. So that's why I ask you, what are you thinking? What are the stories you're telling yourself? Because you are your placebo. You're going to believe that. Even if intellectually you don't believe the negative things you say about yourself, your subconscious mind hears, the cells of your body hear. Positive thoughts equal positive, healthy results. Negative thoughts equal negative, not so healthy results. So she calls these negative placebos nocebos. So we've got placebos and nocebos. And I have an example of this. So a nocebo would be when you go to the doctor and the doctor says, well, you had an MRI and I haven't got the radiologist report yet, but I see that there's mass on your spinal cord, and that's probably cancer, and that location and that size, it's probably terminal. Now you receive that kind of information, and you're going to do most of us that that don't understand about the power of our thinking could take that to be serious. And if we believe in this placebo effect, it could have devastating results. Or, and this happened with us, we had that conversation with the doctor. Our son had a spinal cord tumor. And so we heard these words. We heard that your son has a 19.5-inch spinal cord tumor that is inoperable. And in listening to that, because you're in shock when you hear that kind of thing, you're just listening, but you don't have a response right away. So as I listened to that, and I listened to him say, and the course of treatment would be, we will just keep him comfortable, and then at some point we will fill him full of steroids, and then at some point his body will just close down and he will pass, he will die, and that's what will happen. So thank goodness I had my spiritual community. Thank goodness I was in practitioner training with Lyle at the time. This was what, 15 years ago. And thank goodness Claire was one of my practitioners at the time. We had a spiritual community of practitioners that knew that none of that necessarily was the truth. So I had a team of people that believed that thoughts create. I had a team of people that helped remind me that doctors' prognosis isn't necessarily the truth. What did they say? MD, minor deity? We don't have to believe what the doctors tell us in regards to prognosis. Medicine is an art, not a science, said my neurosurgeon. It's an art. Not the same thing is true for every patient. So what is it that alters the course if someone is to heal and if someone is not to? Because some people that have been misdiagnosed with a cancer diagnosis have actually died of cancer in their own minds and physically died, only to find out, whoops, there was no cancer. So luckily, we got on track with this, releasing the temptation to listen to the doctor's prognosis, and our family, Michael and I, and our children, we created a new prognosis, which was health, which was my son Christopher running and playing, and he had a dream to play with the Lakers. So he had a lot of positive thoughts and images about his future. He saw himself getting old. He saw himself having children. He saw himself, and so did we. And that's what we went with, and that is what happened. So the very worst case scenario never came to be. Now you probably have seen this in your own families. You've seen this, you've heard of miracles. Now they don't report them in mainstream medicine. Why? You can only imagine with the healthcare and the drug industries. There's a lot of reasons to not talk about miraculous remissions or spontaneous healings. But this teaching of science of mind teaches that we have the ability to utilize this invisible power within us, which is our ability to direct our thought into the areas of our life, to all areas of our life, into every single part of our life, to create a wonderful, joyful, loving experience. So do you want that? Do you want that experience of being a conscious co-creator of your life?
Yes.
Or are you happy just to go along with what everyone tells you?
Go for it.
Co-create. So Lissa Rankin has come up with she wrote this wonderful book that I encourage all of you to get. And she has this wellness model. And she says, because, we can do the things physically that we need to do. Like when we're ill, we go to a doctor. I'm not trying to say we don't use Western medicine, because if your fingers get cut off, you're going to go to the doctor to have them sewn back on. So going to the doctor is a wonderful thing. So you support yourself. You find a medical doctor that can support you. Maybe, if you're having health issues, you change your diet. You begin to listen to your body's wisdom about what kinds of foods, what kinds of alternative therapies. There's wonderful therapies, Reiki. There's all kinds of healing modalities, energy work. See a spiritual living practitioner. We do treatment on the mind. Have you ever wondered what practitioners do? We treat the mind. We help you come into alignment with thoughts you want to think that align with the health that you want. All of us do that. All of us can do that. So beyond going to the doctor and changing your diet and exercising, she's come up with 10 different things that are key to living a very vitally alive life. And have you ever seen those stone stacks, cairns? Have you ever seen those? You see them on the trails. If you go to the beach, people always stack them up, and they're that little spiritual things, and you just run past and you think, someone's been thoughtful and mindful and been meditating along this trail. Well, she uses that same concept, and she has a little image here. You can find this online. So this is her cairn. And it's in a circle of love, pleasure, gratitude, and service. So that reminds me that I am here in this physical body, here on planet Earth, Earth's school, to experience love, deep love, to give and receive love. Not that I just give love, but I'm willing and able to receive love too. That I'm here to enjoy, to find pleasure. This isn't just you're born and then you learn how to work hard and then you croak. That's not why we came. We came here to have pleasure. Pleasure. So what do you love to do? We also came here to serve. We came here to serve each other. We're one human family, here to serve and support each other. And then we're here to be in gratitude. So that's the environment. If we can remember, that's a very healthful environment to live in. So these stones are, number one, your inner pilot light, she calls it. Your inner pilot light is your intuition. It's very key to being healthy, to have a very keen, close relationship with that intuition, with that wisdom within you that knows. Beyond the fearful, scared, tired, sick, all of that, those parts of your personality, that part of you that knows. Then there's the healthy work life. It's very important to have a healthy work life, to love what you do, and to have purpose and meaning, to have healthy relationships, a healthy spiritual life, healthy creativity, sexuality, healthy environment, where do you live? Healthy mental, healthy thoughts, healthy relationship with money, and healthy physical body is the result of all of that. So everything you do, everything you think, everything you feel, and everything you say affects your health. We call this congruence. Mahatma Gandhi said, when what you do and how you feel and what you say all line up, that's happiness. So that's my wish for you, is that you learn to be the body of health, a picture of health, and watch what you think. Especially when you get triggered, know that that's not the most healthy place to be in, that your body will release those healthful hormones, those healing hormones into your body when you're in a relaxed state. So if that saber-toothed tiger, or that angry woman, or something's out there triggering you, remember, run scared for a moment, but within 90 seconds, bring yourself back to a place of peace, because then the body naturally releases those hormones that go out to bring you back to your natural place of perfection. Thank you. So let's end with prayer. As I turn within, as I slow down my thoughts and I enter into my heart space, I feel my connection with all life. I feel it. I feel it in my body. I know it in my mind. And I just know, I sense that I am one with all life, infinite and eternal. Each being on this planet is an individualized expression of this one life. Each being is important. Each being is powerful. Each of us, imbued with this mind, this incredible mind, body, mind, and spirit. So I direct my thoughts now. I utilize the power of my mind to activate the divine creative process into action. And it's through the intentional direction of thought that I spark change. That change is activated right here and right now. And if you align with these words that I'm about to say, allow them to be your own, and allow your body, every cell of your body, to hear and to be activated right now. Because spiritual mind treatment is simply an activation of consciousness. I know and accept right now that I am perfect, whole, and complete. I know that there is wisdom within me that supports my health and well-being every step of every day. I know that this wisdom pumps my heart, moves the blood around my body, blinks my eyes, and contributes to every other organ and system in my body working perfectly. So I know, as I stand here today, that every step on my path this week and from now on is a step of health. I direct my thoughts to support my physical well-being. I choose healthy foods. I choose healthy relationships. I choose healthy work. I make wise and healthy choices all the time that support my health and well-being and those of my family and loved ones. I know that the universe matches these healthful thoughts with providing me just the right opportunities. So I know that each of us is supported right now in utilizing the power of our mind to consciously create a life that we love. And for this we are blessed every day of our lives. This mind, body, spirit connection is in alignment. I am in congruence now. The thoughts I think, the words I speak, the actions I take, and how I feel is love. So for this I give thanks. For each being on this planet I give thanks. For the ripple in consciousness I give thanks. Let's take a breath together. Releasing anything that doesn't serve, letting go of any old thought patterns that have hindered a clear view of healthy living. Just simply letting go, thank you, and saying yes. Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit. And so it is.
Thank you for blessing us with your presence today and being a part of the Satya Center. You're invited to join Reverend Allie and Reverend Lyle each Sunday morning at 10 a.m. for your dose of connection, inspiration, and co-creation. The Satya Center is located at 795 24th Street, Ogden, Utah. For directions, a map, and our service times, please see our website, thesatyacenter.org. This program was brought to you by the kind donations from the members of the Satya Center. Thank you.